People at Work, The Sailor, first published in 1967, a Ladybird book. Before the year 1485, the kings of England had a navy only when they were at war. They hired cargo ships like the one in the picture from ship owners and had guns put on them. When the wars ended, the guns were taken off and the ships were again used to carry goods. In 1485, King Henry VII started a full-time navy. He started it with 2 ships. These ships always had guns on them, and the sailors were called the King's Men. Today, ships of the Navy are still the Queen's ships, and the sailors who man them are the Queen's Men. A sailor has the name of his ship on his hatband. In front of the name of the ship are the letters HMS. These letters stand for Her Majesty's Ship. All men who become sailors in the Navy have to pass medical tests. They have also to be able to learn how to do the special kinds of work needed in modern fighting ships. Before they learn this, all sailors are trained in seamanship. Training in seamanship helps sailors to know all about ships and the sea. The training also helps the sailors to learn to live together and keep a ship safe and seaworthy. The sailors learn how to handle ropes and anchors. They learn how to use small boats and how to save lives. All sailors must be able to swim at least 2 lengths of a swimming bath. They have to do this with their clothes on. After training in seamanship, many sailors join the seaman branch of the Navy. Most men of the seaman branch work with weapons on the ships. They may train as gun crews and work in the turrets of the large guns. Today, the ships which carry the largest guns are cruisers. Some cruisers have guns which fire 6-inch shells, and some that fire 3-inch shells. Cruisers are now made to carry helicopters on special decks aft, at the back. The most modern cruisers are HMS Tiger, HMS Lion, and HMS Blake. Each of these cruisers carries 750 men. Enemy airplanes and submarines are the biggest dangers to warships. Men on the ships use radar to spot airplanes before they would otherwise be seen. Radar works by using wireless waves which are sent out from the ship. If they hit anything, the wireless waves bounce back. When they bounce back, they make spots of light on a screen which is like a television screen. Men on the ships watch the radar screens all the time. The men can work out how far away and in what direction the aeroplanes are flying. Modern fighting ships carry guided missiles as well as guns. Guided missiles are special kinds of rockets. On warships, guided missiles are for use against enemy aeroplanes. The missiles may be fired before the planes can be seen. Seamen using radar and radio signals fix the missiles on their targets. When the missiles hit the targets, they explode. Guided missiles, called Seacats, are carried on frigates. Seacat is a short-range missile. Destroyers carry Seacat and Sea Slug missiles. Sea Slug missiles are medium-range missiles and can travel further than Seacat missiles. Destroyers, which are larger than frigates, are very fast ships. The newest destroyers have boosters for their engines to make them still faster. On the newest destroyers, 450 men live and work. As well as Sea Slug and Sea Cat guided missiles, destroyers carry large guns. Some of them carry anti-submarine mortars as well. The newest destroyers carry helicopters for anti-submarine work. Each helicopter can carry a homing torpedo. A torpedo is a special kind of bomb with a motor in it. Homing torpedoes find enemy submarines and then explode. On all ships there are sailors who listen for enemy submarines. The sailors listen for any strange sounds from under the sea. Even little sounds can be picked up by the special kinds of microphones in the ships. These sounds are heard by sailors wearing earphones. If the sailors think the sound comes from an enemy submarine, they give the alarm. The ship's captain tries to make his ship safe from attack by the submarine and starts to hunt for it. He signals to other ships asking them to help find the submarine. Frigates are ships which are made to hunt and destroy enemy submarines. Some sailors on frigates work in the sonar control room. In this room they use powerful listening sets which help to tell them exactly where the submarines are. They can tell if the submarine changes course or slows down, or even if torpedoes are fired at their ship. When the position of a submarine is fixed, the sonar controller fires the anti-submarine mortars. These are like bombs, and they are set to explode under the sea near the submarine. Some sailors ask specially to serve on submarines. They must pass tests to show that they are very fit and able to live and work on these undersea warships. About 80 men live together for many weeks in very little space. The newer submarines have nuclear or atom-powered engines and can stay under the sea for months. Sometimes submarines hunt each other. Targets on land can be attacked by some submarines. These carry 16 Polaris missiles. Polaris missiles can be fired from under the sea and have atomic warheads. Aircraft carriers are the biggest warships. About 1,500 sailors live on an aircraft carrier. As well as the sailors, there are men of the Fleet Air Arm. An aircraft carrier is a floating airbase. It can move aircraft thousands of miles to within striking distance of an enemy. The aircraft have folding wings which take up less space and allow more planes to be carried. Some of the planes are stored below the flight deck and are carried up and down in large lifts. On the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, the men wear brightly coloured jackets. Each colour is for a different kind of work. A steam-driven catapult is used to give the aircraft more speed for taking off. Naval aircraft are very fast and land at high speed. When they touch down on the flight deck, they have to be stopped quickly. A hook underneath the aircraft hooks onto an arrestor wire which stretches across the deck. When aircraft are taking off and landing, there is always a helicopter flying close to the aircraft carrier in case of accidents. At times, the Navy and the Army have to work together. Special ships called assault ships are used to carry soldiers and the tanks and the guns they need. When they have to leave assault ships, the soldiers and tanks are put into landing craft. The landing craft, which are in the holds of the ships, are used for carrying loads to the beaches. The sterns of the assault ships are like huge doors. When these doors are opened, water comes into the holds of the ship. The landing aircraft float out and sail out, carrying tanks, soldiers and supplies. Sailors on small ships called minesweepers find mines and destroy them. Mines are kind of bombs that are put into the sea to sink ships. Some mines explode if ships touch them. Other mines are magnetic, and these are attracted towards ships because the ships are made of steel. Acoustic mines are made to explode by the sound of a ship's engines and propellers as they pass over them. Minesweepers are made mostly of wood and aluminium, and the sailors must not take iron or steel things on board with them. When the sailors are sweeping for magnetic mines, they let out a thick loop of electric cable. This is towed behind the ship. A powerful electric current is passed through the cable, and this explodes magnetic mines that are near. To destroy acoustic mines, the sailors use a different sweep. They use an acoustic hammer. This is a machine which is towed behind the minesweeper. It makes a noise like a large ship, and this explodes the mines. When a passage has been cleared of mines, the sailors mark it with buoys. Sometimes fighting ships have to stay at sea for a long time. All the things the sailors and ships need are taken to them. Special ships called fleet support ships are used to do this. Some of these ships are floating workshops. The sailors in them are able to mend ships that have broken down or been damaged. Other fleet support ships act as motherships to destroyers, submarines or minesweepers. The sailors from the smaller ships can go on board the mothership when their ship is being refitted or repaired. Sailors of the Royal Fleet Auxiliary take stores and ammunition to naval ships. These sailors belong to the Merchant Navy and not to the Royal Navy. Most ships use fuel oil to drive their engines. Sailors in the Royal Fleet Auxiliary make sure that the naval ships always have plenty of fuel oil. The captains of the ships arrange a meeting place at sea. When they meet, a rope is fired by a rocket from the tanker to the naval ship. This is used to pull fuel pipes across. The ships sail along as the fuel oil flows from one to the other. All ships in the Navy, except the smaller minesweepers, carry sailors who've been trained as divers. These sailors have asked to do this kind of work and have been specially trained. The divers inspect the underwater parts of the ship to see that no mines have been fastened to them by enemy divers. Any repairs that have to be done under the water are carried out by the divers. Ship's divers are called frogmen. They wear special suits and have flippers on their feet. The divers carry their own supply of air. Sometimes divers have to jump from helicopters. They do this to reach aircraft that have crashed into the sea. There are some specially trained divers called clearance divers. Clearance divers have the longest training of all naval divers. They can dive deeper and stay underwater for longer time than any other divers. At times they wear special observation suits which allow them to go very deep indeed. Clearance divers are based in this country and they are flown to anywhere in the world when they are needed. Sailors on the ice patrol ship HMS Protector spend most of the year in the Antarctic. Because of the ice, extra thick plates have been put on the ship around the waterline. The inside of the ship is specially lined to keep out the cold. HMS Protector is used to carry stores to men at bases on the Antarctic ice cap. 2 helicopters are used to help carry stores from the ship. Captains of all ships need good maps of the oceans and seas. These maps are called charts. The Navy has sailors in special ships called survey ships who keep the charts up to date. The sailors find out where there are sandbanks, rocks, sunken ships, or anything that may be a danger to other ships. The chart that our sailors make are so good that they are used by ships of other countries. Sailors in the Navy first started charting the oceans more than 200 years ago. Some sailors in the Navy serve on ships that are quite small. These are fast patrol boats that can travel at about 50 miles an hour. The boats are often used in coastal and shallow waters. The ships carry anti-submarine torpedoes, but these can be changed for guns if the ships have to be used in large rivers. Sailors on other kinds of small boats are like sentries. They look out and listen for very small submarines that are used to attack big ships in harbours. On all ships of the Navy, sailors work spells of duty called watches. They all do 4 hours on duty and then have 4 hours off. This goes on all day and all night. The ships have to be ready for action at all times, and there is always a lookout on duty. Every day the guns are cleaned and the radar, radio and electrical parts are tested. Some sailors clean the mess decks. These are the parts of ships where the sailors live. The officers on duty inspect the ships twice a day to make sure that the ships are kept clean and tidy. There is not much living space for sailors on the mess decks. They have to keep all their belongings, eat their meals and sleep there. Many sailors sleep in hammocks. Hammocks are made of strips of canvas and ropes. These are tied to hooks and stretched across the mess decks. The ship's captain and officers sleep in cabins. Sailors are proud to belong to the Royal Navy. They enjoy working together and make many friends. They like being on board ship and look forward to visiting different parts of the world.